Face to face with the developers, part 3. There is a couple of issues in this Q&A that we need to address, and we need to talk a little bit more about it because some of them are very concerning. Hello everyone, my name is Legend Ronnie, and today we just got an email in the game, face to face with the developers. So we want to go with this Q&A, and we want to detail about it, and I'm gonna express my feelings and my expressions regarding this because some points are really concerning. Hello everyone, bringing exciting new changes and content for all governors has always been the Rise of Kingdoms team's core goal. Well, that's super amazing. Let's see what they have to say about this face-to-face to developers. Question, the rewards. Now, I'm gonna stop right there. This was the main mistake. I'm not sure if that was the question or this is the question they wrote. Or in the Lost Kingdom, have been the same city teams and equipment blueprints for 3 seasons, which I agree regarding that. But the rewards part, I don't agree. What is the point of playing KVK events? Because can anyone complain about the speed ups? Can anyone complain about the gems? Can anyone complain about the reserves and what other good stuff that we really need on a day-to-day basis playing Rise of Kingdoms? Can anyone complain about that? No. But the blueprint, yes, having the coin over and over and over, I totally agree. The city team, same thing. The answer is a new game mode of Lost Kingdom have been a very important part of our development team's future plans. Lately, we've been getting a lot of feedback complaining about the gameplay. It lags. It's simple. That was the complaint about. And the coin. Nobody wants the coin over and over. And things like how the rewards are too repetitive. You see, because of the question, they mentioned the rewards. We will be bringing reworked Lost Kingdom gameplay online soon for some kingdoms. Well, they have already done that. Heroic Anthem with, let's say, not so expected rewards. I'm trying to be nice over here. With very different rewards from the last 3 seasons. I highly agree with that. Just get a bunch of resources with a very low amount of speed ups and gems and other useful stuff that you need. At the same time, we'll continue exploring how the event can be further adjusted to give experienced governors more advantage. Well, you just heard it over here. We just need gems, speed ups, gold heads, materials. I highly agree about the material, but reducing the other stuff, I just don't agree. Because the material is just a new thing. Why should the rewards be divided and just give us less of each? No, this is just the equipment, is just a new feature of the game. Doesn't it make sense to just add more rewards instead of just splitting the same rewards? Because, I mean, for me, it would make sense to just add more rewards rather than just splitting the same because it's new game features like the Forge, right? More interesting, thus making the event a more engaging and fun experience for all governors. Okay, okay, so I got a trophy in this video. Thank you very much. I highly appreciate you, the king. Why is the Golden Kingdom event so difficult? Because they're not worthy. It's as simple as that is. If you watch my last live stream, when I played the Golden Kingdom, if you didn't know how the Golden Kingdom works, it's pretty much based on power. So your power reflects how difficult the Gold Kingdom is for you. If you check my last live stream, like I was mentioning, you will see that I had a struggle completing the Golden Kingdom. But for me, it was an achievement because I didn't give up and I went all the way without the fervent tactics, which is the healing, right? That everyone is looking for and keep resetting and resetting just to go for that healing. And I didn't. And for me, it was a challenge and an achievement for completing it without fervent tactics. Each move that I had to make on that live stream, it was a calculated move. Each buff that I took, each march that I healed, and so on, each things that I bought from the shop, etc., etc. Right? I managed to complete it. So how about that? I felt that I played something, right? I felt important in that moment. But if you make even the Golden Kingdom, which right now it is the hardest event that it is out there, and I would say from a point of view maybe free to plays. Yes, I agree. But if you're free to play with 80 million power, that's your fault for just pumping in a bunch of T5s just because you want to be high in power and probably have a better rank in the alliance. instead of just focusing on other things, having troops in number. Maybe they need to adjust it, but if they lower the difficulty for the high power players, I think it will be just a dull event like many others. How to best say, maybe mindless type of events where just go in, you kill stuff, and you just do it because of the rewards. It's a bit of a challenge right now. So for the high power players, I don't think it needs adjustments. I would say, let's say maybe 100 million plus. So for the lower power, yes. My alt is struggling every single time with 4-5 max legendary to complete the Golden Kingdom. I done it last time, but 2-3 times before that, I just got to 12 and I gave up. It's also my alt. I would say that they should maybe make the difficulty based on the amount of max legendaries rather than just go by power. Because like I was mentioning, 80 million free-to-play players don't have a lot of max legendaries. So it's a difficult and a challenge for them. Many governors have complained that the Golden Kingdom event is too hard, so we have already started working on adjustments to every difficulty level. Now, why is every difficulty level? That will allow a more suitable challenge for governors of every power level. You should get to see these adjustments very soon. Since losing the second and the third Iron's Balance bosses results in having to restart from the beginning, should they really be so difficulty? Just lower the difficulty. First of all, Iron's Balance is easy peasy. Second of all, I think this is from the game mechanics. If I'm correct, so I don't want to make assumptions, it's 20 million power requirement to do the hell difficulty on Iron's Balance, which I don't think that's very right. I would say they should increase that to 50 million, like many other events that have for the hell difficulty. I don't know, like I said, I just don't remember because I always have the necessary power to the highest levels and highest difficulties and so on. But I think the Iron's Balance is that one event that has 25. So this might just be the problem. If you keep failing on Iron's Balance, it's already an easy event. Like, how much more easy they want to make it? We have seen how much time governors have invested in the Iron's Balance. 12 to 15 minutes adventure. We set it to the governors who have to start from the beginning after losing to a boss in order to deliver the feeling of a complete adventure. At the same time, however, we see how this has proved inconvenient for some governors. We are currently looking at the possibility of saving progress after a boss fight, but we also see a large number of potential issues it could cause. So we are being very cautious about making any changes here. I think it's just the power. Just make sure. Or for example, I could give another example. If 400 million power players go into Iron's Balance, right, they shouldn't have the same difficulty as 450 million power players. Does that make sense? 400 million power players most likely have better commander, or in theory they should. But 450 million power players, if they want to go by power, I think at some point into the game, they should try to measure things not necessarily by power but by max legendaries. Maybe power should have a factor up to, let's say, 50 or 60 million, but after that should be the amount of max legendaries that will make a difference, because those are the commanders that you use, right? You don't throw your power, like, let's say, 500 million power player, 200 million power player goes in theirs and he just has Minamoto and Barca maxed. He'll probably do something, right? Because Minamoto is good in this type of event. But in the end, he will not do the same as a 60 million power player who has a Genghis and YSG. How about that? Will that require a lot to be able to balance? Maybe. But in my opinion, that looks a little bit more right, rather than just going by power. Could you please make it possible to disable the buffs and debuffs of city teams in game settings so that I can use team purely for decoration? How can this be even a question considered for the face-to-face developers? How? I just don't see how. I mean, I get the Lost Kingdom questions, I get about the events, right? Because the events, this is something that you do daily or at a regular time, whenever they come into the game. But the city team decorations, to remove the buffs just so you can use them for decorations. So there's not enough things that you need to keep in mind all the time that you have, like, all the buffs and whatever other stuff. When you go into the battle now, you have to check that your designs have activated the buffs. It's just mind-blowing. How could they even take that as a consideration? We really want governors to feel free to use their favorite city teams whenever they want, but certain city teams have been designed to come with debuffs, making governors feel like they can't use the teams they own. Who stops you? Just use it. We are already working on a solution where governors can choose whether or not to allow their city teams to have any actual impact in gameplay. Now that is crazy. How they can spend resources and time in such a thing? How? I just don't see how was this even considered. Alright, here comes the cherry on top of the cake. My troops just stood near the city and didn't join the attack, but when the Garrison commanders used their AoE skills, my troops got killed. Why? Well, you just learned what an AoE commander can do. That's because you're in the same alliance. That's why. That's what AoE commanders do. I mean, you see the Rain of Arrow from YSG. How silly would it be to just stay under it and not take any damage? When commanders leading the garrison of a city or stronghold use their AoE skills, the skills will also cause those nearby enemy troops who are not engaged in attacking the city or stronghold to die immediately. They don't really die immediately because there's not so much power unless it's a Baba city over there, then yeah, you just die immediately. But in general, it takes a couple of times to die so you can see your health bar going down slowly. There's not so many high power players to make your troops just die instantly from an AoE. We found that not a few new players had no idea of this mechanism. Well, we learned, right? We learned, so they learned as well, and got their troops killed in this way. So we are planning to make the following adjustments. Okay, the AoE skill for garrison commanders will only severely wound those troops that are not attacking the city or stronghold. Note, severely wounded troops will also die immediately if your hospital are full. But this can also be game breaking, and I kind of feel a little bit sorry for the people who spent in AoE commanders. And I'm not saying about YSG, I mean, they all put in YSG because probably 95% of the Rise of Kingdoms players are maxing YSG as their first commander. I'm talking more about YSS and Theodora, because this can be used on purpose to nerf their damage. So what I'm trying to show is that once you obtain the expertise of Theodora, she does 1700 damage factor to each target up to 5 and is reduced by 15% for each additional target. So this is what I'm trying to say, that this can be used on purpose in KVK to place very tanking marchers on purpose just so they can take the initial damage from the rally. So this can be game breaking for those two commanders, because YSS has the same. If you look on his primary skills, when he's in garrison he hits up to 3 targets, 1400, but each target is reduced by 15% for each additional target. So if you just keep 5 marches in there and you just do a rotation, you get severely wounded but you don't get dead. You just spend resources. So people that will be able to spend resources, they would rather reduce the dead from the rally. So this is game breaking, and it might just make these two commanders a little bit obsolete. In Ark of Osiris is totally different. You swarm buildings there, otherwise you won't take a building with just a rally, especially on proper teams that know how to proper garrison. But I'm talking about KVK because that's where troops die, for real. YSG, after KVK 1 and 2, to be honest, YSG kind of becomes obsolete in flag garrison because of Attila and Takeda. Once you go into KVK 3, it's just Attila Takeda flying in all direction, and YSG is just not working. So I wouldn't really include him on that. All in all, this is a nerf. This is a really big nerf for the AoE commanders. Many players, even when they were taking rally, they were using AoE commander for the same purpose, just to kill troops around their city. So no more free kills. If you do severely wounded, you still get kills, because severely wounded do count on your kills. Don't really need to just have them dead in order to count for your kills, but the dead troops is where it hurts, not the severely wounded. At the same time, we are also working on the following adjustments. We feel that the current ways of acquiring certain equipment related items are still too limited, making it harder for governors to fully utilize the equipment system. With this in mind, we are making adjustments to Lost Kingdom rewards. Preserving the overall value. But why preserving? Because they add in new features, right? Doesn't it make sense that they should add rewards because it's new features of the game? Like the forging, like I was just mentioning previously. preserving the overall value of rewards by adding more equipment related items and decreasing the amount of the rewards, especially speed up items. This is insane. So they want to rework all the KVK's rewards so they can add more equipment but less speed ups. That's pretty bad. That really is pretty bad. They should not preserve, they should increase. We hope this will make governors first and second KVK experience more rewarding. I hardly doubt so. Giving them powerful equipment and making it easier for them to explore benefits from and most importantly enjoy the equipment system as a whole. I just don't think so. People need speed ups. KVK 1, 2, 3. I don't think anyone cares about equipment, to be honest. They need speed ups because everyone wants to reach at least max tech, not necessarily train a million of T5, but at least reach the technology. Everyone needs speed ups for that, and KVK is a very good source for it. Again, they should not preserve, they should increase, just add materials as extra. Additionally, we are working on pricing adjustments to certain items in the VIP shop, probably resources. The VIP shop was a key feature in the system in the early days, of course, because around there was no way to buy resources, so it was the VIP shop. But as the game has grown and developed, and the average VIP level of players has gone up, a number of items in the shop are not as valuable to governors as they once were. Makes perfect sense. But the price do not reflect this change. All right, so I'm pretty sure that they're gonna work on resources and pretty much the stuff that people don't buy in the shop. If they adjust the gold heads to 1,000 gems, I mean, WTF to that. That might just be a thing. But will they actually do that? That would be nice. I mean, gold heads with 1,000 gems. I just don't think so. There's so many spenders that just buy the gold heads anyway every single week. Nah. Equipment? Nah. They will just rework stuff that we don't buy just to make us spend more gems. We are always very cautious when making in-game price adjustments, so while we plan to lower the price of certain items in the VIP shop, we are still going to do a lot of data testing first. Thank you very much. So kind of you. Let's say, to give my honest opinion about it, I would say this is just a preparation for VIP 18, or they just want to add more things into the VIP shop and they just want to add everything we did with VIP 18 and all that. The above is what this face-to-face with developers contains. If you have any suggestions, concern, or other feedbacks that can help us make the coming rock update even better, please feel free to contact us in any our official communities. Post a link. Why there's no link? So I can complain right now in this video, but there's no link because they know the answers. There's some good things, but I would say there's just mostly kind of bad things in this update and a waste of resources and time for some of the changes that they are doing. And nerfing the rewards is the best way I can put it. Nerfing the rewards of the KVK and giving us less speed ups, less gems, like we are already seeing in the Heroic Anthem, less gold heads just to give us more materials. That's pretty bad. They don't have to preserve new futures, and most likely like the force is gonna be even more futures they're gonna bring into the game. They're gonna what, just keep preserving the same rewards? No, they just need to add the same way they added the force. They just need to add more rewards, those rewards. Until next time, this is your boy Legend Ronnie, and this is my opinion and this is my idea about this face-to-face with the developers. We need to express our concerns, otherwise nothing will happen. Peace out, y'all, and take care. See you on the next one, and stay safe out there.